Hostel, another Hostel.
Hostel Part 2. Eli Roth, made a great splash on the scene when he arrived at Cabin Fever. He obviously had a lot of talent. Since then, he has just proceeded to squander that talent. And I think the worst thing that's happened to him is he started hanging out with Quentin Tarantino. So suddenly he makes Hostel, now we get Hostel Part 2, pretty much exactly the same set as before. There's a torture factory in Slovakia where businessmen, and in this case businesswomen, because hey, it's an equal opportunities grindhouse movie, go to do hideous things to each other. The most horrible thing about this is, I think that Eli Roth probably has some talent, but I really think he needs to be slapped and sent to bed with no supper until he's decided to grow up and stop squandering what talent he has on this infantile piffle. There are several things that are wrong with Hostel. The first is that it exists at all. I mean, Hostel in itself was a self-contained, post-saw gag, fine, thank you very much, leave, move on. But no, the idea of Hostel 2 is completely cynical. The twist this time is that the three people are, he sends on three girls, okay? And he says, oh, well, this makes me, obviously, this is so much more interesting, not three boys, though, this time three girls. And one of them is Heather Matarazzo, and this is a real shame. Heather Matarazzo is a very interesting actress. The first time I ever saw her was in Welcome to the Dollhouse. And she gets nothing to do in this film apart from be stripped, humiliated, and treated really, really horribly. There are Elspeth Bathory-style bloodbaths. Again, hey, the suggestion is that, the women are just as bad as the men, but that's not what he's interested in at all. What he's interested in is reliving all his infantile fantasies of 70s sleaze movies and getting people like Bijou Phillips into trussed up in this incredibly leery fashion and then behaving abominably to them under the sort of pretext of occasionally, there's some it's all to do with Abu Ghraib, it's all to do with media images of violence. No, it isn't, Eli. No, it isn't. You know it isn't. I know it isn't. Your mum knows it isn't. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should just stop this because it doesn't do anybody any good. And the problem with all this is that, you sit there for ages and ages arguing that there is more to horror than the kind of really low-end sludge. And most of the low-end sludge used to be made really cheaply. Now the low-end sludge is made expensively, and people like Quentin Tarantino waltz around telling everybody how clever it is to make low-end sludge. It's really, really great. Now we can be leery and sexist and misogynist and all the rest of it all over again, but we'll do it with some irony. It's a bit postmodern. Postmodernism means never having to say you're sorry. I just think it's like the 70s never happened. And most of the time it's just innocuous and stupid. But in the case of Hostel, I did find myself thinking, I might walk out not because I think it's grotesquely offensive, but because I think it's so stupid, it's so boring, it's so dull, it's so predictable, it's so depressing that this is what it has come to. So my two suggestions: firstly, put Quentin Tarantino in prison forever. Secondly,
the charge?
Just crimes against cinema, being completely full of himself and having watched a whole bunch of movies when he was an adolescent and having never ever moved on.
And it'd be extraordinary if being full of yourself was a criminal offence.
Yeah,
we'd have to build a whole lot more
sharing a cell with him, But so firstly, him in prison for a long time. Secondly, Eli Roth sent away and told to make a low-budget costume drama about people discovering love in the Arctic. And remember how to make films, okay? And thirdly, all those people who are now going to do this, it's great, it's really great, I went to see it, was so edgy, it was so disgusting, it was so... No, it isn't. It's none of those things. I mean, the worst thing about it is, if you want to see something really edgy and really, really disgusting, okay, go and get a Herschel Gordon-Lewis movie. Go and get the original version of Last House on the Left. I mean, the point is that is sleazy and disgusting and horrible, but with a purpose. It actually has a brain in its head. This is just empty, vacuous nonsense. It's like a bunch of teenage boys in the playground who've been given a movie-making kit to go away, and they really all ought to have their horrible little heads banged together and told to stop it.